Welcome to the DMF. I am your host, Justin Yachts, and this is episode 44. And I'm going to be talking about TLC, AEW, SmackDown, Raw, and Drew McIntyre's visit to the Broken Skull Ranch and the Broken Skull Sessions. So stay tuned. So let's start with TLC. I found this pay-per-view to be decent. It was not my favorite, but I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't mind the main event. I don't like the aftermath, but I actually ended up liking the main event. The two TLC matches were good. It's not a bad show, but I don't know. My problems with WWE are booking-wise. They just still are not improving. So let's get to the show. It began with Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles with Omos. This was a TLC match, and this is for the WWE title. It was quite a long match. Then The Miz came out and tried to cash in, and he did cash in. And he ended up losing as well. I thought that made him look very foolish and just like, why? I thought it was a waste of using the Money in the Bank. This match didn't really, it was good. It's well worked. AJ Styles is an amazing worker, and Drew McIntyre is really going into his, he's really starting to feel like the champion of the brand. And not just like the guy that they were just lending the belt. Now he feels like a top guy. Drew gave Miz a Claymore kick and climbed up and he got the belt. It's a little frustrating because it's more this outside interference stuff, and I'm just kind of like, these are basically handicap matches. Why doesn't Sheamus, why doesn't Keith Lee, or why doesn't anyone come out and help him? I don't like that idea with WWE's booking. They don't explain it. Next we had a Paul Heyman interview. He basically said nothing that was really interesting. We had Sasha Banks versus Carmella with her sommelier Reginald for the SmackDown Women's title. This match didn't do anything for me. I didn't care. But from most of the people that liked it, thought this was probably one of Carmella's best matches. Sasha Banks was great here. That's probably why it was great. It's good. It doesn't really do anything for me. Carmella tapped out to the Banks statement. It was okay. The New Day versus the Hurt Business. They ended up losing the Raw Tag Team titles to the Hurt Business. So Cedric and Shelton are the Raw Tag Team champions. It's a good choice. The Hurt Business are kind of coming up. I feel like they're kind of a B team until they take a major title. And I think they should go with... But it looks like Sheamus is probably the next guy Drew McIntyre is facing, but I would have Lashley face him. Have the two face for the main title. So it was good. It's fine. Then we had Big E talking to Sami Zayn, and Sami was upset that Caleb Braxton leaked some fake thing that seemed like they were trying to redo the Tom Cruise rant, and pretty much Big E said that, hey, keep it up, pal, because I'm coming for you. We had Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Asuka and, wait for it, Charlotte. Like, they already leaked it to everyone that it was going to be Charlotte, but yeah, so Charlotte came in. Surprise, surprise, they won. It's a 10-minute match. That's fine. I just think Asuka's being wasted. They're not really doing anything with her. Nothing really matters. These belts are just kind of throwaway, put on whoever they want. They don't really mean anything. So it's hard for me to care. They showed Ric Flair backstage applauding. I guess this makes Charlotte a Grand Slam champion. It just doesn't do anything for me. Charlotte won with the natural selection, and there you go. So Asuka and Charlotte are Raw Tag Team Champions, and or no, the Women's Tag Team Champions. Excuse me. I'm sorry, they switch both brands. And Asuka is the Raw Women's Champion. So, call me excited. They had a 2020 versus 2021 animated video. It's just lame. I'm not even talking about it. Sami Zayn, was mad at Big E, saying that he did this thing. This is where Big E said, keep it up, kind of threatened him, said, Big E... pretty much Sami Zayn said that Big E's a joke. I don't care. I just don't care. Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman versus Kevin Owens. TLC match, WWE Universal title match. This was basically a handicap match. Jey Uso was in there the whole time. It was good. They did a good job of making KO sympathetic babyface getting over. But once again, this is the same type of match that they just did in the first TLC match. So it's like they're so inept with their booking that they just do the exact same thing for both brands. Nothing special, nothing. I love Roman Reigns. I love what he's doing, but I don't know where this is going. It doesn't feel like anything's going anywhere. It just feels like he's just the champion, and I like that he's a heel and everything, but once again, it feels directionless. And that seems to be my problem with WWE, is they just have no direction. KO hit the stunner several times. They did a bunch of table spots. Owens did the pop-up powerbomb on Reigns. This was good, but it's like every time he came in, Jey came in. It ended with Owens about to get the belt, but Reigns gave him a low blow, and then he choked him out with the guillotine, and then dropped his body, and then he grabbed the belt. It's pretty good. I liked it. It's a good match. It's hard for me to care what WWE is doing because they just don't seem like they're going anywhere with these matches. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's hard for me to care. It's hard for me to care in WWE. They just make nothing really seem important. It just seems like it's a match for the sake of a match, and then we go on to a match for the sake of a match. I don't know where we're going. So then we had Randy Orton versus The Fiend, Inferno match. This was my favorite match of the night. I mean, it's not a great match, but I like the setup of the Firefly Funhouse, and instead of having an Inferno match with the fire like around the ring, it was around the whole like arena. I don't know if you could get away with that if we didn't have this pandemic and fans not being in the building, but I liked the way they did and the psychology of it with Randy Orton and them trying to throw them in, and it looked dangerous. It really did look dangerous. My hat's off to them, because that could really, you could really get hurt there. You're dealing with fire. So they had the whole ring, the whole arena was kind of where all the TVs were. They were all on fire. I liked, it was a cool presentation. If I was Take-Two or whoever is making the next WWE game, I would put that in the game because this is a cool visual. It looked really cool. I liked it. I thought it was pretty vicious. And having the fire there, I thought this was the best Inferno match I've seen since Taker and Kane, Unforgiven 1998. It ended with at one point they put it's hard for me, so he. The Fiend had the mandible claw on him. He pushed him toward he was going to push Orton into the flames, but then Orton reversed it, and then he caught on fire, and that was the end. he's in the ring. So the Fiend didn't really move. He threw him in there, and then Randy puts a gas can on him, and he then burns the Fiend alive. This is where it was dumb. I don't know where that's going. I mean, the Fiend's not gone. It was an interesting way, I guess, to change him. Maybe he's going to come back looking different, but it just goes. I don't know. I don't know where it's supposed to go. But I liked the match. I thought the psychology of it. So I thought Orton Fiend was good. The TLC match was good, but I never felt like Owens was going to win, so it was hard for me to care. Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles, same thing. I didn't feel like anybody was going to win. I knew Charlotte and them were going to probably win. I mean, it was just all predictable booking that just goes nowhere, and I can't get excited about it. So that's my frustrations with WWE, and so that was TLC. If you like what you're seeing on WWE, then you probably already watched this. If you didn't, I don't know, go watch it. And it's not bad. It's not horrible. It's just there. And that seems to be the problem with WWE, is it's just there. So I'm trying to find things to say good about it. I liked the Inferno match. I thought it was well worked. I thought the TLC matches were well worked, but they did the exact same finish, and it just, I don't know. I just don't feel like anything really matters on this show. So that was TLC. And when we come back, I will talk about AEW. AEW Dynamite. This was headlined by Omega versus Janela, no DQ match. Let's get to the beginning. The show started out with Matt Hardy and Private Party versus Hangman Page and the Dark Order. Matt Hardy and Private Party defeated Hangman Page, and it was a good match. I mean, this wasn't exciting. I haven't really cared that much about this, but Reynolds had it won, but Matt Hardy pulls him out the ring, and then Silver got hit with the Twist of Fate on the floor, and we had Reynolds was kind of isolated from the Private Party, and then Private Party hit the gin and juice, and then Hardy tagged in and covered him for the 3. That was interesting. The next thing, we go to the back, the Inner Circle. We're interviewed about MJF's New York Times Best Performance Award for the Dinner Debonair. And MJF said that he sees Jericho as a mentor, the GOAT, and his best friend. And Jericho said that he was... congratulations. Cody and Brandy... are preparing for Christmas at home. A present arrives. Inside was an ornament. We're expecting a new baby due 2021. So that's how they announced that. And now Cody is a future father from Justin Roberts. So we had Cody Rhodes versus Angelico with Jack Evans, and this was a decent match. It was a good match. Cody hit the step up. Cody caught it from the top rope for the pin. After the match, we had Team Taz. They came out and they congratulated Cody and Brandy on the pregnancy, on having a baby. Then Starks questioned why they didn't get a congratulations when they beat up Cody and Darby Allin. Then Team Taz, walk to the ring, and the lights go out, and Sting shows up, but he's got the bat in hand, and he stares them down, and they just leave. And I guess next, so this was supposed to be Sting Speaks, but we really didn't get Sting Speaks. We just got Sting Shows Up. I thought it was kind of lame. I'm going to be honest with you. This show was not my favorite, but you know what? They can't all be home runs. There's nothing here that I hate, though. Miro was interviewed. He said he was fined $75,000 for hitting the staff members. So that was interesting. Then we go to what happened? Why are my notes just like going all over the place? Miro said that he'd face Sonny Kiss on oh, and then Kip and Penelope are going to announce the wedding date on next week's Dynamite. I really don't care about wedding stuff, but maybe it'll be good. Eddie Kingston came out to the ring. He said he didn't care about anyone. You know, he ought to. When Archer ran out, the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny ran to stop Archer. Then the Lucha Brothers show up. Pac came out. Kingston said this was okay. Dustin Rhodes was interviewed by Dasha. This was good. The Inner Circle defeated the Best Friends, Top Flight, and the Varsity Blondes. This was supposed to be a 14-man tag, but Wardlow had a family conflict. Orange Cassidy was on commentary, but he doesn't really say anything. So, Hager hit an awkward-looking F10 in a reference to Wardlow. Then JF tagged in and got the pin. The teams all brawled after the but Top Flight were the only ones left standing when it was all said and done. So the Inner Circle wins. Thunder Rosa was interviewed by Dr. Britt Baker. Then they attacked her, and yeah, it was lame. The Acclaimed defeated SCU. Every time I hear that, I keep saying Acclaim, like the video game, the bad video company video game. I mean, we're gonna get a next. Are we gonna get a team called LJN? Big Swole and Serena Deeb defeated Ivelisse and Diamante, and that was okay. Not a lot here that I care about. Here's the thing that I do care about. And we got the no disqualification match, Kenny Omega with Don Callis versus Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss. I like this. I really did like this. We had Don Callis on doing commentary from a mic. Callis wanted Shivani to get out. He told him to kiss his you know what. A lot of spots here. We got Omega hit the Omega rolled out of a top rope moonsault, and then he lands 2 V-triggers, and then it was the one winged angel, and that was the win. It's a 6-minute match, but it was really entertaining. Then after the match, Callis said that that there are no more unanswered questions. After the AEW, the Death Triangle came out, and Pac said that him and Kenny have unfinished business. And then Don Callis said that wrestlers don't tell the world champion what to do. And then Pac said, but he'd spoken to Tony Khan, so on December 30th, Omega will defend the AEW Championship against Phoenix. And Callis and Omega were like mocking him from that. It was good stuff. I liked that. The main event was good. That's the thing I cared about. I mean, you can't hit home runs every single show, so I'm got nothing bad against. You've gotta get more people on there. You got to continue to build characters. What they did, I would have used Sting a little bit better, but you know what? This is good. They're building. The ratings keep building. You can't always hit, but WWE is gonna continue to speed up this process. So then we had the Young Bucks versus the Acclaimed for the AEW Tag Team Championships is next week. We have Chris Jericho and MJF versus Top Flight, Dustin Rhodes versus Evil Uno, Jurassic Express versus Colt Banana 5 and 10, Pac versus The Butcher, and Hikaru Shida in action. Oh, and Chris Jericho is going to be on Dynamite on commentary. And this is either going to air at the normal time or it's going to come on right after the NBA on TNT. And I wonder if we get Moxley attacking Omega, because I feel we're building up to that. So, not my favorite show, but it's a good show to build to the great shows. So it works. I'm happy. And when we come back, I will talk about SmackDown and Raw. SmackDown. So the show starts off with a video package for Owens and Roman Reigns, showing all the angles from last week. Then Owens came out to the ring. He demanded that Roman show up. He wasn't going to. Paul Heyman showed up and he said, "Look, the champ comes out on his time when he wants to come out." So then Owens went backstage to look for him, and then Reigns came out, and he cut a promo. He said, "I'm just doing the things you have to do to be the guy." He said, another good promo from Reigns. And then Owens came out, but Uso jumped him. And then Reigns joined in, and the beating continued, and just okay. Jay Uso told Reigns that he thinks Owens got the message. Reigns disagreed, and he said he doesn't understand. He said, "I know his kind. He's not going to listen, and he's not going to stop." And he told Uso to take him out. The Street Profits faced Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode for the tag titles. It was okay. I don't care. The Street Profits retain. Big shock there. The Riot Squad versus Billy Kay and Tamina. Who cares? It's a 3-minute match. The Riot Squad win. Carmella and her sommelier were in the ring. Banks came out. They did. This time Carmella broke a champagne bottle across Sasha's back and shattered Sasha's back. Not Sasha Banks. Jay. So he attacked Owens backstage and slammed through a backstage table. Otis versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Otis wins in 3 minutes. More 3-minute matches. They had this thing called the Sammy Awards, which was just dumb. And Sammy, stands there reading, all the things he's won. He won for Match of the Year. And then when Superstar of the Year came, he gets Big E's name and he reads it anyways. It makes absolutely no sense. He's the one who created these awards, so how does Big E win? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. This is my problem with WWE. They don't make any sense, and they don't care to make any sense. So Sammy read that, and then Big E beat him up and held up the Slammy trophy in the air, and then he smashed it on the stage. It was Who cares? This just show is awful. Then we had Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Bayley raked Belair's eyes, and then she beat. So Bayley beats Bianca Belair. They did sell, the announcers did sell this like this was a heel doing it, but you know, that's so old hat now that it's hard for them to. Reigns' music played. He comes out with Heyman and Uso. And then Owens limped out, and once again they laid him out. None of this makes any sense. It's just throwing stuff at the wall. None of this is building to anything. I have no faith in this company. I don't know where they're going. I don't care. It just seems awful. They're wasting Reigns. Reigns has the best character ever. And Owens is great, but they don't know how to book anybody. It's awful. So let's go to Raw. I'm not going to read all these things because they're just, nothing's exciting here. Charlotte Flair made her entrance. She cut a promo. I don't care. It means nothing. Asuka came out. They had a match. They set up a match between Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler with Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. Surprise, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler won in the 13-minute match. We had the Hurt Business backstage. A guy wearing a New Day t-shirt was there. They ripped the shirt off him and they put a Hurt Business shirt on him. Okay, they had this introduced the VIP lounge. They had a bunch of comedy and stupid crap, and Jeff Hardy came out with Matt Riddle. Who cares? It's so lame. It doesn't mean anything, and it goes nowhere. Angel Garza versus Drew Gulak. Horrible. Styles made his way to the ring. They did a thing where, what's his name? Miz wants his Money in the Bank back. I don't think he can. Drew McIntyre came out along with Sheamus and Keith Lee. They laid them all out. This is just awful. I can't even. This is just horrible. This is boring to read. T-Bar versus Ricochet. T-Bar wins in 3 minutes, and they cut a promo over him. Said, you will either join us or you will end your existence. No one talks like this. It's lame. We had MVP and Bobby Lashley versus Riddle and Jeff Hardy, where they did a slow motion of Riddle kicking off his shoes. I guess that's something that he has been doing. It's lame. MVP and Lashley win at 9 minutes. Who cares? Jackson Riker versus Grand Metalik. Riker wins in 1 minute. Who cares? Then we had the first thing. Orton comes out, cut a promo, and he's confronted by Alexa Bliss on a playground. This was kind of cool. It just doesn't make any sense with this, where they are in this world, and basically says that, you know, when the Fiend comes back, you're going to regret that you ever did anything that you did. Alexa Bliss plays this character well. Orton did it. It was well acted. I liked it. It's fine. It's the only thing I actually remember on the show that seems like it meant anything. Asuka and Charlotte versus Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans. I kind of liked this match. I liked that Peyton Royce kind of tagged in and tried to win. I see Peyton Royce and Lacey getting better. They seem to be getting better. This was a 7-minute match, and Royce tapped out to the figure 8 for the tap out win. We had a Royal Rumble commercial. I'm not reading any of that. Then we had Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre and Sheamus versus Miz and Morrison and AJ Styles with Omos. holiday street fight. Who cares? Because they do this every year. It's just throwing things at the wall, but they don't care. The finish was Sheamus and Morrison. They swung candy cane kendo sticks at each other, and then Drew was setting up the Claymore kick, but Sheamus tagged himself in to hit the Brogue kick. Lee tagged himself in, and he shoved Morrison in his arms of, Amos. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Then Amos slammed Morrison through the table. So then Lee gave Miz a spirit bomb for the win. So Lee and McIntyre and Sheamus, and we plant the seeds for Sheamus and Drew, which we all knew was coming. Sheamus gave Lee the Brogue kick, and Drew said he just won the match, and I vouched for you. Why? They then had a stare down, and it looks like it's going to be the inevitable, as we all knew, heel turn of Sheamus, so that Sheamus can face Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. So I assume we're going to get Sheamus and Drew and Daniel Bryan and Reigns, which will be good. Those actually excite me. Daniel Bryan knows how to put on a match with just about anybody, so I'm excited for those things, if that's the way they go. So that was Raw and SmackDown. Don't watch the shows. They're boring. Unless you really like WWE and if you have to choose between the two, I'd watch SmackDown. I like Drew, but this show is just awful. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about something that I did really enjoy, the Broken Skull sessions with Drew McIntyre. So I just watched Drew McIntyre with Stone Cold Steve Austin on the Broken Skull sessions. I found this to be really interesting. You found out that Drew McIntyre is a lifelong fan. He talks about, when you look at Drew McIntyre, this is a guy who was pretty much going to be pushed to the top. They took it away from him because of the situation with Tiffany, who was his wife at the time. Then he kind of went down. He built himself back up, and now he's a top guy. It's an interesting story. He talks about, how he was, he's pretty much a lifelong fan. They showed a picture of him with Yokozuna. He talked about how, all of his friends said they were going to be wrestlers, but he continued to keep saying that he was going to be a wrestler, and, he ended up doing that. He became friends with Sheamus on the independent scene. Sheamus kind of taught him how to work out because Sheamus was a bodybuilder, or his father was a bodybuilder. So they came to, then they kind of go to, when Vince McMahon cuts that promo and says that this man is the chosen one. They didn't go into any of the cool moments that I liked when he was the chosen one, which was when he berated Teddy Long. I thought that was really cool when he did that. He talks about how at WrestleMania 26 he was supposed to face Undertaker, but that became Undertaker and Shawn. He says that was probably for the best because he wasn't ready for it. They show the picture. They talk about the three-man band. He basically told them, that everything was fine, but he couldn't, he didn't hurt anybody as he broke his wrist. And apparently they didn't tell anybody, and so it was pretty much dead on arrival. They didn't talk about how Brock Lesnar pretty much told Drew, what are you doing here? You're much better than this. So in 2014, he's released. He goes to ICW. He saw that on the rise, and he said he's going to make that his mission statement. He was going to be the guy there, and that's when he became Drew Galloway. And he talked about how Australia wanted him. And he talked a little bit about Impact. And then he talks about how he was about to go to New Japan, and Regal said, talk to Hunter first. And Hunter brought him back, and he said that he wanted to be on NXT. That was the right thing for him to be. He was on NXT because they knew who Drew Galloway was. He was nervous the first time he came out there because He said, will they remember me? They remembered him. He was happy. He wins the title in, I believe, 2017 from Bobby Roode. Good match. He did talk, I skipped over this. He said that the Claymore kick was born out of the three-man band because he couldn't hit the big boot because his pants were so tight. And somebody said to him, so if you can make that work, that would be a really cool finisher. So that's how the Claymore kick was born. So he's in NXT. He makes the debut on Raw. He talks about how Vince and them kind of saw it as water under the bridge. He said he kind of hadn't found himself yet. Then he talks about how, with the Royal Rumble, he comes out, he eliminates Brock Lesnar, and that was kind of the start of his whole year. Austin says that the way he eliminates Reigns in that match was great. It was snug. He just throws him right over the top rope. He talks about the disappointment of winning the title at Mania in an empty building, but, he said that people needed this, and this was great. He wins it. They did talk about at the beginning of the show how his wife was there for the Thunderdome when he won it the second time, and it really, sorry about that. And he says that winning it the second time was, he said, no matter how many times he wins it, it will always be special to him. Austin agreed that, he's pretty much better with the belt. Some people are better chasing the belt or having the belt, but he says he feels like, he's the guy, and he deserves it, And he talked about how he wants to be a locker room leader, and he talks about how Randy Orton was his big test and everything, and I feel like he's become a top guy, so it's really interesting hearing him talk about this because you get this passion. This is somebody who really had to find. He talks about how he looked in the camera broke the fourth wall on at WrestleMania, and he said he felt they were going to cut that out, but he said he felt that was the right thing. He talked about how Undertaker told him, when you got to quit being a wrestler and just do it, and basically that means that stop trying to wrestle and just wrestle. Stop trying to do moves. Just do moves like you're going to actually hurt, like you're trying to hurt somebody. Stop trying to pretend like you're going to hurt somebody and actually act like you're going to, and do the moves. So he talks about, so it's an interesting story because it's really a story about redemption. A guy that, had it all, lost it all, and got it back, and now he's a top guy, and he's in the position he's in. They talked a little bit about Drew and A, which was a thing. He talks about how he pretty much wants to, help out as much as possible. So they've got the right guy. He's a guy that really works hard, and I think he's going to do really well. I think he's going to be well. Austin asked him what's one thing he wants in 2021. He said fans. So there you go. He wants fans back. I thought Drew came across great in this little, I don't want to call it a documentary, but this little show with Austin. I learned a lot from him. He's really likable. He's a great babyface. We all knew he was a great babyface. When they brought him in as a heel, we were kind of like, why? But now he's a babyface. He's right where he needs to be. He didn't say what I thought he would have said, that, Paul Heyman was really instrumental in the guy, because Paul Heyman's the guy that picked Drew McIntyre to be the guy to lead his brand. Fortunately, Paul Heyman has been removed from power, and now it's Bruce Pritchard, but they seem to be locked on him and pushing him as a top guy, and he feels like a top guy, and I say keep going with him. Keep giving him guys, start making some guys to feed to him, because to me he's the guy. He's doing a great job, and Reigns is the guy. They talked a little bit about Reigns and Drew McIntyre as well. Now that I didn't think that match was great, but the first half of the match I didn't think was great, but the second half I thought was really good. And, he's learning. He feels like he knows who he is now, and he knows who Drew McIntyre is. And you know what? More power to him. I just hope he continues to get better and he continues to do what he's doing. Sorry about that. knocked the table, and that's about it. So there you go. There you have it. That's about it for wrestling this week. I got some exciting news. I do have a new microphone, and that microphone will be coming next week. I wanted to save it for Christmas. I like doing things like that. So, as always, you can reach me at my handle, just at Justin Yachts, on any of the social media platforms. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry that this show wasn't more exciting, but I don't know. It's hard to talk about things when there's really nothing exciting. But yeah. So that about does it. I would watch the Drew McIntyre Broken Skull sessions. I would watch some of TLC. Watch the top 3 matches. Those are good. Watch watch some of SmackDown. You don't really need to watch Raw. If you do watch Raw, just watch the Randy Orton segment. I thought that was good. AEW. The only thing I really liked on this show was really the Omega versus Joey Janela's. I just like how Don Callis, and I thought it was really entertaining. So out of all the shows, I don't know, it was kind of a tie. Nothing was really great here. Impact also, I forgot to mention this, Omega appeared, and he will be wrestling in a 6-man with the Good Brothers at Hard to Kill. So that should probably build to him winning that title, and then hopefully he'll win the IWGP title and the NWA title, and we will have Kenny Omega, the man on all brands. So that about does it for me, and I will see you next time on the DMF.